Hi, my name is Noel Davis with World Composting, and today we're doing our final installment of our A&C bin. So we got these worms back in May. It's June, July, August, 3 months, and they've churned through an entire bin filled with cardboard. This has been shocking to me. Maybe not some of you, but to me this has been shocking. I've never had reds go through cardboard this quickly. It looks like it's almost 100% castings. We're going to dig into this in a minute. And we're just going to do a hand harvest this time. And I'm actually going to leave this bin set up. And there's a reason for that. I don't know how many cocoons are in here. And I want to give them all a chance to kind of hatch out. So we're going to kind of move some of that bedding. We're going to harvest the large worms out of here. Put them in a separate container for another system. And we're going to sort of leave this system as is. And just put in some another piece of cardboard and maybe a small section with some cardboard in it for them to go into if there's any more worms that are born. But at this point, this needs a harvest and it's time to start moving them on. I have another project for my ANCs, which you, the viewers, voted on one of my channels or videos. So they are going to be in the hamster bedding bin. It was an 8-7 vote, very close, but the Reds just lost by 1 vote. And what's funny is we had 1 vote for European Nightcrawlers, and that one was, if they'd voted for Reds, it would have been a tie, and I probably would have had to do something else to try to figure this out. But we are going to put these into the hamster bin with these ANCs. I'm getting all tongue twisted here. So they're going to go into the hamster bedding bin. And maybe at some point I'll start another one up with Reds, but for right now, this is the test that's going to go forward. So these worms are going to be used for that. We're going to harvest them in just here in a minute. We're going to put them in a container, and then watch the next video to watch when I add those to the hamster bedding bin. And we'll see how well they do with this hamster bedding. Because there are some, it's not pine pellets or cardboard, it's actual shavings. And I'm really curious to see, they're aspen shavings. I'm curious to see how fast they can move through those. But for now, let's go and take a look at this bin and let's start harvesting. Okay, here is our A&C bin. Our last update was on 8/8. Today is the 19th, so it's been 11 days. And this stuff, it really looks like a lot of this was gone the last time. So we're just going to open this up here and take a quick look and start harvesting some of these worms out by hand, as I said. So first off, not much on the top. Material looks pretty dry. I'm always amazed at how large the castings are in here. They really have fairly large castings. We added this sponge last time. They didn't really chew on it that much. Probably took a little bit of time for the microorganisms to get working on there. But we'll put that off to the side. We're going to leave that in there because, as I said, we're not going to fully empty this out. We're just going to sort of move everything off to the side. And we're going to try to get out some of these larger worms here. And we're going to add those to our new bin. So I'm going to have a container over here just so you can see. And we're just going to put them right in there. Nice clean container. And we're going to dump these guys into our bin that has the hamster bedding. We're just, as I said, we're picking these out by hand. So we're not going to grab, we're going to grab some of the food out of here too. But the idea is that we're going to try to grab primarily worms. But look, like I don't want to grab this banana stem. But look at this. Actually, let me just move this down just a little bit so that way it's a little bit more in frame here. You can just see there's tons and tons of worms in here. We are grabbing, as I said, some of the bedding. But primarily these worms, we're just going to add a whole bunch. I'm trying to be very gentle here. I don't want to hurt any of them. I think this is the last of them over here. And then we're going to just sort of dig through here a little bit more. And then we're going to weigh these worms. All right, let's just see here. Now, there's going to have a lot of material in there with them, but that's okay. Some of them definitely are escaping to the bottom here. Oop, come on now. Come on. No, you're not coming. Okay. There's still a lot of worms in here. We are, here, let's grab that one on the top. I thought we were closer to the end here, but like there's tons of them as I keep moving through here a little bit. I'm seeing more and more. So just shows how they are in here. Almost looks like a rock right there. I don't know where that came from. Maybe that was in the worms when I got them. But so all right, so we're just going to bury this in here. We're not going to be looking at this bin very often anymore. Actually, and what I wanted to do actually is I wanted to move all this over to one side. So we're going to kind of shift all this material over. If I see any worms in here, I'll take them out. But we're going to shift all this over to one side. And we're going to see if any of these, any cocoons in here or anything hatch, and if we build up with another population of African Nightcrawlers, which is my hope, because that was part of the reason for getting these, is to continue to have them, not to have them just disappear out of the system, you know, after paying for them. That's not the plan with most worms. I think with most people getting them, they want to breed them and have them be successful so that way they can continue to have worms. So we're going to move them over just like that. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to make a food area over here for the worms. Now these worms seem to really, really, really like cardboard. So we are actually going to add a lot of cardboard. All right, so I have a piece of cardboard that's going to go across here. But we're going to kind of cut this to the right length first. So we're going to kind of cut this off right there and right there. And to do that, I've got a utility knife here. So I'm going to be very careful not to cut my hands. And by the way, I'm not cutting towards my body, I'm cutting away. For anybody curious, you should not be cutting towards your body. Alright, so this is almost there. We just need to cut a little bit more off. Actually, will this fit in there? Oh, it does. It fits in. I can cram it in there. That's fine. Doesn't have to be perfect, because we're just going to have it kind of sit there like that. And what we're going to do on the other side of that is we're going to add a ton of bedding material, because they seem to really like it, and they're breaking this stuff down to nothing. So this will be very, very easy to sort. I'm going to throw the sponge on this side as well. So we're just going to add this in there. I know there's no microbial activity on this at the moment. It's fresh bedding material, which is fine, because we are going to get it wet, and then we're going to throw some of the castings on top of it to kind of get that going. So we're going to fill this up quite a bit here. We're going to have this up close to the top. And this is just to make sure, just to give a little bit more time, because we're going to have two systems going. I want this system, I want to make sure that the worms are successful in this system as well. There are some worms left in here, and actually we need to put some water in here first, but I want to make sure that they are successful. And in the process, if the other bin, all the worms die because of pH or something like that, which could happen. I've never tried hamster bedding before. I still have a system that has African Nightcrawlers that I can kind of use to repopulate my basement here. So this is my sprayer here. We're just going to spray this down. Get this nice and wet. Kind of probably want to spray this material too. This bin is pretty dry. And this cardboard is going to absorb a lot of water, but that's okay. This sprayer puts out quite a bit. And it'll soak it up from the bottom and everything. So first thing we're going to do though is we're going to kind of give this a nice saturation. It should be running all the way down there to the bottom. And while I'm doing this, by the way, I also can pump and add more pressure into this tank. Get a little bit more water in there. Alright, I think that's good for right now. These guys seem to like it kind of dry. And we're going to put our plastic back on top too. But now what we're going to do is we're going to kind of fold some of this over here. Just that way there's a little bit of casting material on the top here. Give them a nice base to work in. You can grab out a couple more of these worms that we find. And that way they can start working through that material underneath. Now the other thing we can do there, we found a few more. There we go. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit more water, and then we're going to weigh these worms, and that's going to be it for our ANCs. We're going to switch over to this other system. Let's just get all of this a little bit damp, add a little bit more water. I'm not going to add too much because it's nice consistency right now, but I know that these there's a little bit dry. All right, I think that's good. Now let's move this to the side, and let's grab our scale. All right, here's our scale. And let's turn that on there. We've got a 0 there. Now remember, this does have some material in it, but we're showing 12.9. So that's not a bad haul from this. As I said, there is a lot of material in there, so it's not 100% accurate. But, you know, considering the fact that this bin has been going for such a small amount of time that we didn't pull out all the worms, but we still have, let's say it's half that even. It's still a good amount of worms, and there's a lot of castings in here that are going to be good for the next system. So with that, I'm going to start my next video here, which will be posted tomorrow if you're watching this right now, the day that I posted it. I'm going to have the next video of me adding these to the hamster bedding, and that way we can get that system going and see how they do in that system with some aspen shavings and some cardboard bedding material. They should handle that pretty well. And then, of course, worm excrement. So, all right, that's my update for this week. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. And remember, this is my last update for my ANC bin. I'm not going to be doing these on a regular. I might have one at the end where I kind of show what happened with the system, but other than that, this is the last one I'm going to have for that. So, thank you for watching these videos, and let me know if you have any questions or comments.